What if I told you that Jamaica is sitting on an opportunity so massive, so transformative, that it could eclipse tourism, bauxite, and remittances combined? What if the answer to Jamaica's economic future wasn't something we needed to discover, but something that's been staring us in the face for centuries? And what if right now, at this very moment, the largest economic gamble in Caribbean history is unfolding beneath our feet, and most Jamaicans don't even know it's happening? Here's something that should make your jaw drop. Every single year, over 30 million tons of cargo flows through Jamaica's ports. That's not a typo. 30 million tons. To put that in perspective, that's roughly the weight of 3,000 Eiffel Towers passing through our harbors annually. Ships from every corner of the globe, carrying everything from electronics to automobiles, from pharmaceuticals to fashion, all moving through Jamaican waters. But here's the part that should make every Jamaican's blood boil. Almost none of that cargo stops here. No factories assemble it. No warehouses store it. No Jamaican hands add value to it. No local businesses profit from it. It comes in on one ship, gets transferred to another, and disappears over the horizon. We're literally watching billions of dollars in potential wealth sail past us, year after year after year. We've become the world's most convenient shortcut, a pass-through point in someone else's success story. But what if I told you that's about to change? What if Jamaica is on the verge of transforming from a forgotten dot on shipping routes into one of the most powerful logistics empires on the planet? Before we dive deeper into this $28 billion transformation, I need your help. We're on a mission to reach 10,000 subscribers because this channel is dedicated to uncovering the real stories shaping Jamaica's future, the projects, the challenges, the opportunities that mainstream media often overlooks. If you believe Jamaicans deserve to know what's really happening in their country, hit that subscribe button right now. And here's what I want you to do. Drop a comment below and tell me, do you think Jamaica can actually pull this off? Are you optimistic, skeptical, or somewhere in between? I read every single comment, and your perspective matters because this isn't just my story, it's our story. Now, let's get into why this project could change everything. Let me take you back for a moment. For decades, Jamaica's economic identity has been trapped in a predictable cycle. We mine bauxite and ship it away. We welcome tourists who spend a week and leave. We depend on relatives abroad sending money home. These aren't bad industries, but they've kept us in a box where we're always dependent, always waiting for someone else to decide our economic fate. Meanwhile, a select few nations have figured out a different game entirely. Singapore, a tiny island with almost no natural resources, became one of the wealthiest nations on Earth by mastering logistics. Dubai, sitting in a desert, transformed itself into a global trading powerhouse. Rotterdam in the Netherlands turned a strategic location into a multi-trillion-dollar gateway for Europe. These places didn't have oil or gold or perfect beaches. They had something else. They had position, and they had vision. And here's the secret nobody talks about. Jamaica has a better position than almost any of them. Pull up a map right now in your mind. Look at where Jamaica sits. We're not just in the Caribbean. We're at the absolute epicenter of the Americas. North America to our north, South America to our south, the Panama Canal, one of the most critical choke points in global shipping, just a stone's throw away. Every major shipping route connecting the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, connecting the massive consumer markets of North America with the emerging economies of Latin America, connecting Europe with the west coast of the United States. All of these routes pass right by Jamaica. We're not near the action. We are the action. And it gets better. Kingston Harbor isn't just any harbor. It's one of the 7th largest natural deep water harbors in the entire world. Do you understand what that means? Most ports have to spend billions dredging and maintaining artificial depth. We were born with it. Our harbor can handle the largest container ships ever built, the massive post-Panamax vessels that many other Caribbean ports can't accommodate. We have the geography that countries would go to war for, and for too long, we've treated it like it's ordinary. But geography alone is just potential. It's like having a winning lottery ticket and never cashing it in. The real question is, what are we doing with this advantage? And this is where the story gets absolutely fascinating. Jamaica isn't just talking about building a bigger port. We're not just adding a few more cranes or expanding a terminal. What's happening right now is the construction of an entirely new economic ecosystem, a $28 billion reimagining of what Jamaica could become. This is the logistics hub megaproject, and if it succeeds, it won't just change Jamaica's economy. It will change how the entire region does business. So what exactly is being built? Let's start with the centerpiece, Jamaica's special economic zones. Now, I know what you're thinking. Special economic zones sound boring. They sound like government jargon. But stay with me, because what these zones represent is revolutionary. Imagine a place where the normal rules of business are rewritten, where a company can set up operations in weeks instead of years, where customs paperwork that normally takes days is handled in hours, where taxes are structured to make Jamaica more attractive than anywhere else in the Caribbean, where global corporations and local startups can operate side by side, creating something entirely new. That's what a special economic zone is, and Jamaica is building several of them right now. The crown jewel is the Caymanas Special Economic Zone. This isn't just a patch of land. This is 485 hectares of pure economic potential sitting just minutes from Kingston port. To give you scale, that's larger than 600 football fields. And it's not being designed as a single-purpose industrial park. This zone is being built to host everything. Massive warehouses storing goods for the entire region. Assembly lines where products arriving in pieces get put together for specific markets. Call centers employing thousands of Jamaicans serving companies across the Americas. High-tech manufacturing facilities producing everything from medical devices to electronics. Food processing plants taking raw ingredients and turning them into finished products. Even digital media firms and tech startups. This one zone is designed to be more economically productive than entire Caribbean nations. But here's what makes this different from every other big project Jamaica has attempted. This isn't just for foreign investors. The government has structured these zones specifically so that Jamaican small and medium-sized businesses can participate. Think about what that means. A Jamaican packaging company could win contracts supplying materials to a multinational corporation operating in the zone. A local trucking business could handle transportation for dozens of companies. Jamaican food suppliers could provide meals for thousands of workers. Local maintenance firms, security companies, cleaning services, IT support. Every single one of these represents opportunities for Jamaican entrepreneurs to plug into global supply chains. This isn't trickle-down economics. This is intentional economic integration, designed from the ground up to make sure Jamaicans benefit directly. And Caymanas is just the beginning. Right next to Kingston's busiest container terminal, the Kingston Logistics Park is rising. This facility is being designed with one specific advantage in mind: speed. In the modern global economy, speed is everything. A company in Miami needs parts from South America assembled and shipped to Europe. Normally, that requires multiple stops, multiple handlers, multiple delays. But in the Kingston Logistics Park, goods can move from ship to warehouse to processing facility to truck or even to aircraft in a matter of hours. Products can be broken down, repackaged, relabeled in different languages, customized for specific markets, and sent on their way faster than almost anywhere else in the hemisphere. This isn't just storage. This is value creation happening in real time. And then there's something even more cutting edge. Jamaica is developing sea-air logistics capabilities. This is where cargo arrives by ship and is immediately transferred to aircraft for rapid delivery. Why does this matter? Think about high-value goods. pharmaceuticals that need to reach hospitals quickly, electronics that need to hit stores for a product launch, perishable foods that need to get to market before they spoil. Right now, most of this cargo goes through Miami or Panama, but Jamaica is positioning itself to capture that market. We have the harbor. We have the airports. We're building the infrastructure to make the transfer seamless. If we pull this off, Jamaica won't just compete with Miami and Panama. We'll offer something better, faster, and cheaper. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room. $28 billion. That's the estimated investment needed to make this vision real. To put that in perspective, that's roughly equivalent to Jamaica's entire GDP for a year. It's an almost incomprehensible amount of money. So where is it coming from? The honest answer is, it's complicated. Some is coming from private investors, multinational corporations who see Jamaica as the next big opportunity and are willing to put their money where their vision is. Some is coming from international development banks, institutions like the World Bank, the Inter-American Development Bank, and the European Union who are backing Jamaica's transformation. Some will come from public-private partnerships where the government and businesses share the risk and the reward. But here's the uncomfortable truth. This entire project is a massive bet. If even one major piece fails to materialize, if investors get cold feet, if international conditions change, if Jamaica can't deliver on its promises, the whole thing could crumble. But let's assume for a moment that the money comes through. Let's assume the infrastructure gets built. There's still a massive question that nobody's really talking about. Do we have the people to make this work? You can build the most advanced logistics hub in the world, but if you don't have trained workers to operate it, it's just expensive concrete and steel. Jamaica needs customs officers who understand complex international trade law. We need logistics managers who can coordinate shipments across multiple countries. We need IT professionals who can maintain the digital systems that make modern trade possible. We need engineers, technicians, warehouse managers, quality control specialists, and dozens of other skilled positions. The good news is that the project includes major investments in training. The government, along with international partners, is developing programs to upskill Jamaicans specifically for these roles. But training takes time. And if the infrastructure is ready but the workforce isn't, we'll end up importing foreign workers to fill positions that should be going to Jamaicans. That's a waste of our greatest resource, our people. Let's talk about something that doesn't get enough attention in these big infrastructure stories. The digital revolution happening behind the scenes. Modern trade isn't just about moving physical goods anymore. It's about data, tracking, precision, and speed. Jamaica is implementing something called a port community system. Imagine every single player in the supply chain, shipping companies, customs officials, trucking firms, warehouse operators, government regulators, everyone connected through one digital platform. Instead of paperwork getting lost, instead of trucks waiting hours at checkpoints, instead of shipments sitting in limbo because someone didn't file the right form, everything happens in real time. A ship approaches Jamaica, and before it even docks, customs has already processed its cargo digitally. Goods are cleared, trucks are scheduled, warehouse space is allocated, all before a single container touches land. This level of efficiency is what separates world-class hubs from everyone else. Singapore built its empire on this. Dubai perfected it. And Jamaica is racing to catch up. But here's where it gets interesting. Jamaica isn't just copying what Singapore or Dubai did. We're trying to leapfrog them. We're implementing technologies that didn't exist when those hubs were built. Blockchain for secure, transparent tracking of goods. Artificial intelligence to predict delays and optimize routes. Automated systems that can process thousands of transactions simultaneously. If Jamaica gets this right, we won't just be competitive. We'll be cutting edge. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. This all sounds great in theory, but Jamaica has a history of big promises that don't deliver. And you're not wrong to be skeptical. We've seen ambitious projects announced with fanfare, only to collapse into mismanagement, corruption, or simple neglect. So why should this be different? Here's why. This project isn't happening in isolation. It's backed by international institutions who have a vested interest in seeing it succeed. It's supported by private investors who will walk away if they see incompetence. It's being watched by the entire region, because if Jamaica pulls this off, it changes the competitive landscape for everyone. There's accountability built into this structure in a way that previous projects didn't have. That doesn't guarantee success, but it makes failure much more expensive for everyone involved. Let's address the competition, because Jamaica isn't operating in a vacuum. Panama has been positioning itself as the logistics capital of Latin America for decades. Colombia is investing billions in its ports. The Dominican Republic is aggressively courting international businesses. The Bahamas is leveraging its proximity to the United States. Every country in the Caribbean and Central America is looking at the same opportunity and thinking, why not us? So what makes Jamaica different? What do we have that they don't? First, Kingston Harbor. I cannot stress this enough. Geography gave us one of the finest natural harbors in the world. Most of our competitors are working with artificial ports that require constant maintenance and have depth limitations. We don't. Second, we speak English. In a region dominated by Spanish-speaking countries, Jamaica's English-speaking workforce is a massive advantage for North American and European companies. Third, we have a track record of reform. Over the past decade, Jamaica has steadily improved its ease of doing business rankings. We've cut red tape. We've modernized regulations. We've shown that we're serious about attracting investment. And fourth, we have a coordinated national strategy. This isn't just one ministry working on ports and another working on airports. This is a whole-of-government approach with buy-in from the highest levels. That kind of coordination is rare in the Caribbean. But let's be brutally honest about the risks, because they're real. $28 billion is a staggering amount of debt and investment to coordinate. If global economic conditions shift, if a recession hits, if shipping patterns change, Jamaica could be left holding the bag. There's also the risk of automation. The shipping industry is rapidly automating. Ports that used to employ thousands of workers now operate with a fraction of that workforce. If Jamaica builds this hub expecting to create 87,000 jobs, but automation reduces that to 20,000, we've got a problem. There's also the environmental risk. More ships, more cargo, more industrial activity means more potential for environmental damage. If Jamaica doesn't manage this carefully, we could end up with a booming economy and a dying ecosystem. And finally, there's the political risk. This project will take years, possibly decades, to fully realize. It will require consistency across multiple administrations. If a future government decides to change direction, if priorities shift, if the vision gets diluted, this entire effort could stall. Despite all these risks, here's why I think this is worth the gamble. For the first time in Jamaica's modern history, we have a chance to define ourselves by what we build, not just what we extract or who visits us. We have an opportunity to create an economy where young Jamaicans don't have to choose between staying home and having a future. Imagine a Jamaica where a software developer in Kingston is managing logistics systems for companies across 3 continents, where a warehouse supervisor in Caymanas is coordinating shipments to 15 countries, where a young entrepreneur in Portmore is running a packaging business that supplies multinationals, where engineers, technicians, analysts, and managers are building careers that rival anything they could find in Miami, Toronto, or London. That's not fantasy. That's the explicit goal of this project. 87,000 direct jobs when fully operational, and potentially hundreds of thousands of indirect jobs in supporting industries. Think about what that means for Jamaica's brain drain problem. For decades, we've watched our best and brightest leave. Doctors, engineers, teachers, nurses, all heading overseas because the opportunities simply aren't here. But what if they were? What if a civil engineer graduating from University of the West Indies could step directly into a high-paying job designing logistics infrastructure? What if a computer science major from UTech could work for a multinational tech firm without leaving Jamaica? What if staying home wasn't a sacrifice but a genuine choice? This project has the potential to reverse one of Jamaica's most persistent economic problems. And let's talk about something that often gets overlooked in these macroeconomic discussions: national pride. There's something psychologically powerful about a country defining its own future. For too long, Jamaica's economic destiny has felt like it's decided by others. International organizations telling us how to structure our economy, foreign companies deciding whether to invest, diaspora remittances keeping us afloat. But this project is different. This is Jamaica saying, we see an opportunity, we're going to seize it, and we're going to compete with the best in the world. Win or lose, there's value in that ambition. There's value in a generation of young Jamaicans growing up believing that their country can build something world-class. Now, here's where I need you to get involved again. This video is just the beginning of a much larger conversation. In the comments below, I want to know what you think. Are you excited about this project, or does it worry you? Do you think Jamaica has the political will to see this through? If you're in the diaspora, would a thriving logistics sector make you consider returning home? If you're a young Jamaican, do you see yourself working in this industry? And if you're skeptical, what are your biggest concerns? I'm going to read every single comment and potentially feature the best insights in a follow-up video. Your voice matters in this conversation, so don't hold back. Let me paint you a picture of what success looks like. It's 2035. You're landing at Norman Manley International Airport, and as you approach Kingston, you see something that wasn't there a decade ago. Massive logistics complexes stretching along the coast. Container ships queued up in Kingston Harbor, not just passing through, but stopping, unloading, reloading. Cranes moving 24 hours a day. Warehouses lit up at night. Trucks moving in coordinated streams. And it's not just the visual, it's the economic indicators. Jamaica's GDP has doubled. Unemployment has dropped to single digits. A new middle class has emerged, built on logistics jobs that pay well and offer career growth. Jamaican companies are supplying the entire Caribbean with goods that flow through our hub. Young people are staying home, building businesses, starting families, investing in their communities. The brain drain has reversed, and we're attracting talent from across the region. That's not a fantasy. That's the best-case scenario for this project. But let me also paint the picture of what failure looks like, because we need to be honest about that too. It's 2035. The infrastructure was built, but it sits underutilized. International investors pulled out when they realized Jamaica couldn't deliver the efficiency they needed. The workforce wasn't properly trained, so companies had to bring in expensive foreign labor, which ate into profits and created resentment. Corruption crept in, making doing business here more expensive and unpredictable. Meanwhile, the Dominican Republic or Panama stepped up their game and captured the market share we were counting on. Jamaica is left with billions in debt, massive infrastructure we can't maintain, and the same old economic problems we've always had, just with more disappointment layered on top. Which future becomes reality depends on decisions being made right now. It depends on whether the government can maintain focus and discipline across multiple administrations. It depends on whether private investors see Jamaica as a reliable partner or a risky bet. It depends on whether Jamaicans themselves, from the workers on the docks to the entrepreneurs in the zones to the voters in every parish, buy into this vision and demand accountability. It depends on whether we can overcome our historical tendency towards short-term thinking and commit to a long-term transformation. These are not small challenges. They're enormous, but they're not impossible. Here's what I know. The world is changing. Global trade patterns are shifting. The Panama Canal is reaching capacity limits. Companies are looking for new routes, new hubs, new efficiencies. Climate change is altering shipping lanes. Geopolitical tensions are forcing businesses to diversify their supply chains. All of these factors create opportunities for countries positioned to take advantage. Jamaica is uniquely positioned. We have the geography. We have the relationships. We have the foundation. What we need now is execution. We need competence, consistency, and commitment. If we can deliver those three things, this $28 billion bet could be the best investment Jamaica has ever made. Let me leave you with this final thought. Every great economy in history was built on something. Britain had coal and empire. America had land and innovation. Japan had discipline and manufacturing. Singapore had location and vision. Jamaica has been searching for its economic identity for decades. We've tried tourism and it works, but it's vulnerable and seasonal. We've relied on bauxite, but commodity prices fluctuate and the resource will eventually run out. We've depended on remittances, but that means our prosperity is tied to other countries' economies. The logistics hub represents something different. It's an economy built on something that can't be taken away, our position on the map. As long as goods need to move between continents, as long as the Americas need to trade with each other, Jamaica will be relevant. That's the kind of foundation you can build a future on. So is this the mega project that rewrites Jamaica's future? I genuinely don't know. Nobody does. This is uncharted territory. But I know this, it's the most ambitious, most comprehensive, most carefully planned economic initiative in Jamaica's modern history. It has the backing, the funding, the expertise, and the potential to transform everything. Whether it actually does depends on us. On our willingness to think big, to work hard, to hold leaders accountable, and to believe that Jamaica can compete with anyone, anywhere. The question isn't whether Jamaica deserves this opportunity. The question is whether we'll seize it. If this video opened your eyes to what's happening in Jamaica, if it made you think differently about our future, do me a favor. Like this video, share it with someone who needs to see it, and subscribe to this channel so you don't miss out.